So it is. That's what it is, bro. It's like all of this. I keep speaking on the guy from England named Nelson. Damn, what's that dude name?
Johnny Nelson.
Johnny Nelson. He made it seem like he cannot understand why Malik Scott and Deontay are so confident. We're saying brother-ish. We're saying, hold on. Can Tyson Fury fight? Yes. Does Tyson Fury have a high IQ in boxing? Yes. Is he a good fighter? Yes. That's where it stops. Is he the most dynamic heavyweight in the sport? No. Is he the undisputed champ? No. Has he been knocked out by Deontay before and came back to life? Yes. And this time, he will not get up. I don't know how that don't make sense to people. I just don't get it.
Those are the words, once again, of Malik Scott as he asked a question on Wilder, on why don't people believe that Wilder won't knock out Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. And, you know, after the Gypsy King did admit himself that he was knocked out for a few seconds, you know, and he came back to life. Okay, that was the words of Tyson Fury, not Malik Scott's, right? Malik Scott was just making that a note. Now, the question he asked was, hey, well, why don't you guys know that he can't do that? So that's what I wanted to counterpunch. First off, I think people doubt the fact that Deontay Wilder will do that. There's no doubt about it. He can. He has the ability because he did it before. So only logical you think, yeah, he can do it again, you know, based off of what he did already. But it was a difference between the first fight and the second fight. Now we have the third fight. Now we have Deontay Wilder with all this artillery that they're, you know, equipping him with, right? Well, a lot of people doubt that because, for one, you knocked the guy out for about 3 seconds and he was able to get up. Now there's a chance he might get hit again and he won't. Let's be real. He may not. However, if people looking at it in terms of, well, he could take those punches and then he can get up from those knockdowns and still rally back and do what he did in the 9th and the 12th. Well, that's, you know, I can understand that understanding too, you know, but I think the main thing is between Wilder and Fury. Okay. I don't think Wilder was prepared for Fury. I don't think he was. I don't think he was really prepared for any fight that the right hand couldn't save him, or someone that pushed him. Okay. So, you know, that's my feelings about that. I think he wasn't ready, and I think Tyson Fury caught him totally by surprise and was going to jump on him. And it's going to happen again. So the good thing is the artillery was equipped with Wilder to protect and prepare himself for when that time comes. So he gets in those situations and he is, you know, getting mauled by Tyson Fury, like, you know, we talked about in the first video of this interview. Then he will know, like, hey, I can do this, you know. But I think the major problem is because Tyson Fury will attack, that, you know, just like Mike Tyson said it best, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. That's true. See, now Wilder, and don't make any illusions. I hope they don't. They know Tyson Fury can hurt Wilder. And it ain't because the motherfucker got a dent in his skull and all that foolishness. It's because that guy now knows. See, psychologically, Tyson Fury knows I can hurt Wilder. Okay, I can hurt him. So if he knows that he can hurt him, that is the resistance from Deontay Wilder being able to throw those punches. But again, he's equipped. So he's equipped with all types of different things. Let's just hope, like Mike Tyson says, that don't happen. He gets hit, then he's back to the same old, same old. Okay, let's keep going.
Get like, what's the argument of how that 1 + 1 is not 2 to people? Like, we're outmatched. How the fuck is we outmatched? Like, how? That don't even make sense. This is the false narrative that has been made about Deontay Wilder. One is the one-trick pony. So we'll forget that he won a heavyweight title with one eye in a 12-round fight. A one-trick pony. We'll forget that a one-trick pony beat Ortiz twice Neither one of them was mandatory. A one-trick pony. We'll forget that a one-trick pony annihilated a very hungry, young, undefeated Gerald Washington. We'll forget a one-trick pony knocked out Arthur Spilka off his back leg out cold, fucked his whole life up in front of his raping kids.
Okay, let's talk about that. Okay, you know, he's running the case for Wilder with the one-trick pony narrative. Okay, if you only see a person do the same shit, that's all really pretty much he's, you know, that's his worth. That's what you see. That's all you see is all you get, right? And then the fights that he mentioned, the two with Ortiz. For one, the first fight, yes, he knocked him out. Ortiz ate some of those right hand. He hurt him in the fifth, right before the bell. And he dropped. That was a knockdown. And then I think he came back. Ortiz hurt him in the seventh round. And that was a good fight. Wilder did show heart. He showed that, hey, I can take these barrage of punches from this older fighter, this heavy-handed, experienced, angry Cuban fighter. And I was able to overcome. Now, that would have been the story, but it's more to that story. See, if you're going to tell it, you got to tell it all. And what Malik said, yeah, he had heart. Yeah, he showed he had heart in the seventh. He survived the seventh. Fair play to him. But what occurred in the seventh, because of what happened in the seventh, the eighth round, he was given 30 seconds. Okay, that's a long time if you're dealing with someone that just been hurt and wobbled, like he wobbled his ass back to that corner. They gave him that amount of time. Why? See? Because he was the guy that was supposed to win. Okay? And there was a lot of fouls in that fight. There was a lot of fouls in that fight. But nonetheless, he got the knockout. He finally caught Ortiz. When Ortiz was tired, he was tired, man. In the 10th, he was tired. And he, in Ortiz's mind, I'm going to finish him off. You know, I'm going to catch him with a good right hook and counter him like I did in the 7th. And it didn't happen. Wilder leaned off across those ropes that helped to that pull, because he used those ropes to spring forward and caught Ortiz, right? But what did he hit him with? The right. That's the one trick that Wilder has. He has a right hand. It ain't like he has a good left hook to the body. You know, he did hit Ortiz with a right uppercut. He did catch him with a right uppercut. But, I mean, for me, I did a video called the One-Armed Champion, right? Or One-Handed Champion. That's what he is. You know, as of now, the Wilder that we knew didn't have, his money punch was the right hand. He bragged on that shit. Until that shit didn't work. Okay, now the second fight with Ortiz, he knocked Ortiz the fuck out. You know, but then the count was short. It was a quick count. Remember that? So, you know, first fight, fouls, given extra time. You know what I mean? Criminal, like Ortiz's team accused him of. Second, when he knocks him out, it was a quick count. Arthur Spilka, he did fuck Arthur Spilka up. That was probably the worst knockout. So hey, you can't say anything about that. I mean, you could criticize it took him a while to knock out a smaller fighter rather. You know, because Spilka was game, and I think wasn't Spilka undefeated? Maybe if he was undefeated or not. You know, it is what it is. But no, fair play to him. He knocked out Spilka. I don't think Spilka was the same. Because that Spilka that went in there with Derek Chisora, yeah, he wasn't the same. And then you could say, hey, because Deontay hurt him, like, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't argue with that. You know, I think because when Wilder hit him to that degree and knocked him out like that, yeah, that does damage to you on farther down the way. And I think that's what happened. So, you know, and then when you get knocked out like that, it's easy to go down. It's just as easy. Jarrell Washington, you know, he mentioned Jarrell Washington. Well, Jarrell Washington was a football player transitioning into boxing, and it showed even that he was an inexperienced, undefeated fighter, He had the size and everything. He really didn't have the experience, but he knew how to fucking jab, though, didn't he? So that 19-0 fighter, Jarrell Washington, ex-football player, was able to nullify Deontay Wilder with his fucking jab. But, he's supposed to have been this and that. And that just shows you. And his eye was swelling, mind you. Yeah, did he hurt Jarrell Washington? Yeah, sure he did. Did they, they stopped the fight because he was hurt? Yeah, he did. But look how he was swinging. That don't come like a person that worked and trained on combos and techniques. He fought with emotion. That's basically, you saw an emotional driven fighter that was angered and was hyped by the punch that he put Jarrell Washington down with. Okay. But I mean, who is Jarrell Washington? And in fact, that was a cherry pick because he was criticized for even picking that guy, because people were wondering, when the fuck are you going to fight somebody? And let's not talk about Bermane Stiverne. Who did he fight? Come on. Chris Arreola. Okay, Chris Arreola, fair play to him. He did what he did to Andy Ruiz, and Andy Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua. I get that. So, but then Bermane Stiverne, who was he? What did he do of significance? You know what I mean? It's like, it's Bermane Stiverne. It's like, okay. Ooh. You know what I mean? While you got Tyson Fury beating Klitschko on points, and guys like Anthony Joshua retiring Vladimir. Right? So, that's the big difference. I mean, the opposition, but for him saying and trying to have an argument for Wilder's a strong, durable fighter. He has speed, and he has a dangerous right hand. Is it the best or the hardest punching in history? That's okay. That's a good slogan, but who knows? I mean, how can you prove? He hits hard. He has fight-changing power. Okay, but other than that, you can say the same shit about Fury. Like, all of his wins had some shit about it. Well, I just explained to you. You can say the same shit about Wilder on the wins that he had and the best wins that he had. Okay, I could go on about, the Fury fight. Okay, well, yeah. You let a guy outbox you like that punches like a fucking feather, do that to you that many fucking rounds. It took you 9 rounds to knock this fucking guy out. But then, but the argument is he a one-trick pony? Yes, he was. I don't know how he is now, but yes, he was. That's exactly what he relied on, because he was stubborn and he was arrogant, and he thought that's all he needed. He said it himself. If you got power, you don't need skill. Those were Wilder's exact words. I did not make that shit up. That's something that came out of his mouth. And he said that back in 2016. And when I first seen Wilder, I thought, the first time I saw Wilder, he was fighting Malik Scott. I was like, damn, he must have some punching power. Which at the time, I really didn't even look and all that. You know what I mean? But I seen, like, man, this dude with 30 wins, 30 losses. 30 wins, 30 knockouts. I'm like, damn, he got a record like a video game or something. You know what I'm saying? So, and I was already impressed because of the record. I seen this big, tall guy, you know what I mean? When he comes in knocking people out like that, you just looked at the record and say, okay. But then you take a closer look, you're like, dude, that shit didn't even land. You know what I mean? So, that's my counterpunch on this segment of the interview with Malik Scott. You guys tell me what you think of Malik Scott saying that Deontay Wilder is not a one-trick pony, or was not a one-trick pony. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.